So the number one in numerology, it's represented by the sun. And so think of all the characteristics that the sun has, and those are going to be the characteristics of number one: regal, kingly, dynamic, authoritative, great decision makers. How do you know if you are a number one within numerology? So if you are born on the 1st, the 10th, the 19th, or the 28th of any month, then your birth number is a number one. Or if your destiny number is a number one, that's all the numbers in your date of birth added up and condensed down to one number, you're a number one destiny number. There are quite a few differences in between the birth number and the destiny number, but regardless of which you are, this video will apply to you. The main thing that you should focus on is that you're a birth number of one. It's going to be more about who you know yourself to be, your personality, your talents, what you came in with from your past life. And then if you're a destiny number of one, this is the energy that you must go towards in your life and who you ultimately are, as well as how the world sees you. This number one is going to be prevalent in your life, irrespective of it's your birth number or your destiny number. So having a birth number or destiny number of one is this kingly energy, right? Think of the number one as the king. He is the king in the royal court of numbers. And so he is very authoritative and has a commanding presence. And when people see people with destiny number ones or birth number ones come in the door, they know who they are. They stand out. And people with ones want to be known. Now, they are very confident and great at decision making and can guide other people. And therefore, they make great CEOs, great presidents of companies, or just their organization. Even if they're just a teacher at school, they're going to have this commanding presence, and people are going to really look to them, for making decisions and for guidance. They are very warm-hearted and generous, right? If you're operating at the higher vibration of number one, you're very generous. You do want respect from other people, but you look after people as well, because that's what the king does, right? He rules over his kingdom and demands respect, but he's very caring to everyone, within the kingdom and court. So number one is very confident and optimistic, and they trust themselves, but they need to be careful because with their commanding presence, because the sun burns, right? They have to be careful with their words and their actions, not to, burn other people, so to speak, and the ways that they communicate. Because on the lower end, arrogance can come in if they are not careful with how they speak. So number one, people are visionaries and they can see beyond what is in front of them, right? Because think of the king. He needs to see in the future and what is the best action to take. And so number one, people are amazing to go to when you're not quite sure what to do or where to turn. They can come up with resources, to get projects done. Number one, people don't like to ask for help. They are incredibly self-reliant. They do like other people to come to them for help, but they don't go to other people for help. And so that's one thing. If you never go to someone for help, it's just a heads up that you might, know that you can ask for help. Because just think, if the king went into the village and asked for assistance, people would be delighted to help the king. They would be, so honored to have the king in their presence. And so just know you can always go and ask people for help, and you will receive help from others. You will have allies where you go. Number one is also a very determined number and courageous, right? The king has to be courageous. And then when we look at it in terms of the planetary energy, the sun lights the earth, that lights our world. And so you also have this warmth. You're courageous, but also very warm-hearted. And there is this invincible spirit about you. Think of, the heart of the lion. You go out and you get done what needs to be done, and you don't stop until it's done. You can also be very decisive and strong-willed. And when you decide to do something as a number one, then you will go out and do it. And there's not going to be, any stopping you, right? And then when the energy of number one is not in balance, there can be problems with ego, with being too tyrannical, right? Think about the king that is not thinking about the people in his kingdom or people in his court. He becomes too overbearing. And so this is something you need to be on the lookout for. One way you can know this is possible is if you have multiple ones in your date of birth. I'll link a video on the Vedic Grid, how to create that. You have multiple ones in your date of birth, and one of those ones is a destiny number one, right? You can become too authoritative, that it's your way or the highway too much, and allowing people not even to speak at times, right? You may allow them to speak and put their opinions out there, but then, you just shut them down or brush them off. So make sure that you don't do this. On the other end, you may not find the courage to act accordingly and to function well within life. And so make sure that you have this balance of the king that is courageous and confident, because you are, as a number one, very courageous and confident, but you don't want to go on the other, scales of becoming too tyrannical or being, the kind of person that becomes a pushover. So you'll know that you're not lying, within the balance of this kingly energy if you're letting people push you around, or conversely, you're becoming too authoritative. Also, a number one is not in balance if it's being vengeful or manipulative, because that is not what the kingly energy is about, right? It's about being royal and regal and standing out and being welcoming to other people and bringing them into your court if they need something. And so just remember that as well. Don't allow your strong, courageous energy to be intimidating to others or to be manipulative in any way, because then that can topple, that can be your downfall, right, so to speak. So just remember to be this equanimous person that always has the greater good in mind, and you will get the respect and trust that is so important to you. Another thing is, if people in your life, you let a lot of people in and you value people and you're generous, but when someone turns their back on you or betrays you, then you don't allow them back in. Because if you think about the king in the court of numbers, he is not going to allow someone that has betrayed him back in. And so you are a very good friend and you very much support those in your life. But once your trust has been betrayed, you don't let people back in easily. So you have, because the sun is one, right? It's an odd number. And so you have a lot of individualism and sense of self. And, that is the main reason that you don't go out looking for help, but you have, really great ideas. You are very self-expressive. It may not be apparent to others, but we don't often think of number one as being the number of creativity, right? That really is apparent in number two and number three, but I don't completely agree with that. I think number one is very self-expressive and very dynamic, right? Because we think of the sun, the energy of the fifth house and Leo. And so you are incredibly self-expressive and dynamic, and it may not necessarily come in the form of artistry, but the way you communicate and express yourself is a form of art. And that is something that makes you stand out a lot. You will stand out as being unique and being a leader and someone that other people can turn to. There is a diplomatic way about you. So always make sure that you let that shine through instead of, a way that is too authoritative. It's good to have authority because that is, what your number represents. But just make sure you don't go on the side of tyranny. So let's talk really quickly about the birth numbers. If you're born on the 1st, that is just going to be that pure sun energy. And so you will embody all of these qualities very strongly because it's just number one. It's you, shining in the world. So make sure that you shine. People born on the 10th have that same energy, right? 1 + 0 becomes 1. But because the 0 is attached to the 1, there can be some challenges for people that are born on the 10th. They often don't find their confidence until a little bit later in life. And right, that is, part of being a number one. You need to be confident. You need to fulfill that. And so sometimes people born on the 10th of the month will have a little bit of a challenge, especially in their younger years, moving into that confidence, but they will get there eventually. Just if you're born on the 10th, make sure you really, try to embody the energy that the sun represents, that vitality, that courage. Don't, 0 has to do with the void and nothingness. And that is not you, right? You're meant to stand strong and stand tall and kind of rule over the kingdom. So don't let the 0 infiltrate your life too much. And then people born on the 19th, that's number 1, the sun, and then the energy of number 9, Mars. And then so 1 + 9 added together gets back to a 1. And so you are really a go-getter. And people born on the 19th do not just sit around and wait for things to happen, because you're embodying the energy of the king plus the number 9, which is the commander. And so you are a force to be reckoned with. You really go out and get things done. Just make sure that you watch your words and how you speak to people, and don't become too domineering in your life. And then people born on the 28th, so they are embodying the energy of number 2, the moon, plus number 8 is Saturn. And then those two numbers added up become 10. And then, the 1 + 0 becomes 1. So people born on the 28th have a very dynamic way about them. People really notice them and gravitate to them. Almost even more so than people born just on the 1st of the month. But there can be a way, I'll get into this in another video. I'll make a video on each of the individual numbers. But people born on the 28th can sometimes have things that happened to them when they were younger in their family. And so they can sometimes keep their emotions too close to them, and they're afraid to fully show love and compassion, or to receive the love and compassion. And so they really need to watch this and let especially other people into their lives, and not be restrictive in their showing of emotions. So if you're born on the 28th, make sure that you let other people in. And then as a destiny number, all of this is energy that you're going to need to really embody. And so if you have a birth number that isn't really in alignment with your number 1 destiny number, the remedy is to know that you are meant to stand out. You are meant to shine. You are meant to guide others and to help others, along their path. And you're very good at leadership. And so really embody that energy. Even if you think it's something that you can't do, or that you're a little bit shy, you've got to stand out in the world and fulfill your destiny, because you are incredibly dynamic. So I hope that this video was helpful for you in understanding the number 1. Please let me know if you have any questions. And if the video is good for you, please like and subscribe so you never miss any of my other upcoming videos on the other numbers. And if you're interested in booking a consultation, you can click the link in my bio or reach me at brooknumerology.com. Talk to you soon. Bye, friends.